of all of the Winnie the Pooh films, I do think Pooh's Grand Adventure is probably the darkest. I really enjoyed it though. And this was released in 1997. I was 5. I don't remember ever having seen it until just now. But I think it would have been quite intimidating to watch as a child, because once the adventure got underway, and I will talk about that in a moment, everything did become quite dark and quite scary, and there were not that many bright colours. But it still works really well. This was directed by Karl Geurs, I apologise if I mispronounced that, and written by Crocker, with an amazing voice cast, including, of course, Jim Cummings as Pooh. And basically, Pooh receives a pot of honey, and on this pot of honey there is a note, but it's covered in sticky honey because Pooh just dove into this honey pot without looking at the note. Owl reads the note and concludes that Christopher Robin has gone away to Skull, Skull. And of course, Winnie and Tigger and Piglet and Eeyore and Rabbit know that they have to go and find Christopher Robin and rescue him from this skull. And they go on this adventure to try and find Christopher Robin and track him down. And it does quite quickly get quite dark and gloomy. The colours are all very grey and black and misty. And they encounter a lot of what they consider to be very scary things. And I think if you're a young child watching this, it would be quite intimidating. Certainly it would have been for me. Maybe not at 5, but maybe just younger than that. I think it would have been quite dark. But, and I'm not going to say what happens at the end, but I will explain the mood. When it concludes, everything is bright and happy again. And all of the scary things were explained in one way or another. So it's kind of really good at teaching children that things may seem scary, particularly when we're alone or we don't understand them. But once you take a chance to see them in a new light, they may not be as terrifying as things seem. This is also a lovely story about friendship. The team obviously bond together and go on a journey. Eeyore is ridiculously melancholic to the point where I want to tell him to be quiet, because he's not depressed. He's just a martyr, basically. But that's another story. But also the relationship, the friendship between Christopher Robin and Pooh is just so beautiful and quite emotional. And there's a time when Pooh Bear feels that Christopher Robin is still around him because he is in his heart. And I think that's I definitely welled up at that point. It had me choked a little bit. It was really sweet. The animation quality is lovely. Some of the distance shots, so when we have a landscape, the animation's quite weak. Like, it's not the usual quality I would expect for Disney in the 90s. But apart from that, I really enjoyed it. The music was really good. The narrative developed, at a really steady pace. I think there's a lot in it for children to enjoy. Again, I said it is quite dark, so if you're I'm assuming you're not a timorous child, but if a child is quite easily scared, then that's just something to bear in mind. It's got 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb, which is a brilliant rating. It's obviously very well received, and I completely understand why. That being said, it's probably my least favourite Pooh film that I've seen so far. Not that it's bad, one of them has to come last. But for me, I think it's this one. But if you are a fan of Winnie the Pooh, I still absolutely recommend it.